Hey everyone, welcome to DeHaven Family Farm. Thanks for joining me in today's video. We are going to take a look at something I just purchased, and you can probably see behind me, it was delivered. This was the crate that it came in. I had to kind of rip it apart. That's obviously not the whole crate, but it needs to be assembled, and minus the dog, here is the big mess of stuff that I have to put together. So this is a brand new log splitter. It is a Rugged Made brand, and it's got a lot of cool options on it that my Splitfire currently does not have. So again, as you can see, it needs to be put together. I am not going to do a step-by-step sort of how to put this together type of thing, but I will take you along the way here and there as I get portions of it done. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and I will come back to you shortly. Looks like the dog's going to be a lot of help. So here's the mess I've managed to make so far. I pretty much got everything unpacked, all the hoses, and I did start to get the splitter together. It kind of almost looks like a log splitter now. A lot of pieces left to go, but making some progress. I don't actually remember in the last clip where I was, but recently I put the motor on. I've done, there's a cradle, there's a hydraulic log lift I put on, and I don't remember what else since the last video. There's a little battery box over here for the electric start. I got that put on, but so far, between taking it out of the crate, opening all the pieces, and to this point, I have probably about 3 hours into it. One of the sort of holdups, I guess, or challenges with putting this thing together, the bolts come in a couple different boxes. None of the bolts are labeled for like what they do or where they go. There is no paper instructions. They have a video online that you're supposed to watch. It's like a 26 or 27 minute long video, so there's no way I'm going to remember 27 minutes worth of details. So what I've been doing is going in the office and watching a couple steps and come out and I do those steps and I go back in and I watch some more. But even that, there's challenges, because when I went to put this cradle on here, or the log lift, you can see the cylinder slid back a little bit. Well, up until the point of me doing this, my cylinder had been in the shipping position all the way over here, but yet in their video they showed that it was already moved back out of the way, but they haven't yet showed you what you're supposed to do with this. Obviously it looks like it bolts in there, but they sort of bypassed that step and went to this step. And the other thing with the video is a lot of times it's close up. It shows you real close what you're doing. Like it'd be something like this, you know, oh, put those bolts in right there. But it doesn't tell you how to orient things, because you need to have the camera back here to show you, does it go this way, up, down. So far it's been a little bit challenging to put this together. Not terrible, but a little bit challenging. So I got to go in and watch some more of the video and work some more on this, and I'll come back to you in a second. Well, that will end day one. It's been about hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes since the last clip, and I have spent all that time doing hydraulic fittings, Teflon tape. There's just fittings everywhere, trying to put this valve body together. There's two of these that go together. There's a couple of different adapters that you could put in there. One's wider, one's narrower, and first I had the wider one in there and that wouldn't work, so I'd take that all apart again, and getting these hoses on here, the return line down there. So basically that's what I've been doing, and I don't really like how this fits on there. On the video it looks like this hose is much shorter, but it says to use the longest of the two shorter ones, and that's what that is. So I don't know. Anyway, that's going to be it for today for me. It'll just be a second for you, but I'll be back working on this probably tomorrow. Alright, it's been a few days since that last clip. I got a battery, which is down there, and if anybody's ever bought one of those little batteries before new, you have to add the acid and charge it and blah blah blah, so that took a little while. I got my hydraulic oil here, and of course engine oil. I got some gas in it. One interesting thing to note is the hydraulic oil, it says it holds, or they tell you 8 gallons, but because all the hoses and everything are empty, you can only actually get 7 gallons in that reservoir to start with. So there's 7 gallons in there right now. Engine oil's good. We're gonna fire this thing up here, run it, cycle it through, and then we can add the rest of the hydraulic oil. But I'm really curious because the way some of these fittings and things go together, put your guesses down below. How many leaks are we gonna have with all these hoses? There's probably 15 plus connections. So how many leaks are we gonna have? All right, there you have it. She's together. We ended up with 3 leaks. They were at least easy to fix because it was just some loose connections. You know, there was a tremendous amount of connections that had to have Teflon tape on them. So I worry about those sometimes, getting them tight enough or just right. They did give you Teflon tape with the machine to put it together and everything, but it was not enough, so I had to use some of my own. So I'm sure I've already said this in the earlier part of this video, which was days and days ago, but overall seems like a fairly well built machine. It really was a pain to put together, and I think some of that part of it was the installation video that was available. Some of the details were not exactly the same as what this machine is. And the other thing was, I think, my expectations, thinking that I'm going to blow through this and put it together in 4 or 5 hours, and that is just not realistic unless you've already put one of these exact models together. So now, if I were to do this again, I could definitely do it a lot faster. But the first time through, it's just unrealistic to expect 4 or 5 hours to assemble it. So, you know, it's funny, I have some pieces left over here. There's an extra jack here. There's a log cradle piece here. And I opted not to put the safety chains on because this thing will never be going down the road. It's always going to stay on my property, so I didn't even bother with that. And then there was a box that had some additional bolts and stuff in it. It's never good when you have parts left over. But anyway, so there it is. It's all put together. I am going to be doing a video here coming up pretty soon. of me actually using this. So you're going to get to see kind of how it works. You'll get to see, I'm going to take it down and put it in our greenhouse next to the split fire. So you're going to be able to see those two side by side. So stay tuned for that. So far, even with the aggravation of putting it together, I still think it is worth the money for what you get. It was about $1,900 to my door, and I have $150 in the hydraulic oil, the battery, and the engine oil, because those 3 items do not come with it. So, you know, let's just round up and say $2,200 is about where I'm at on it. And I just can't find another splitter with similar features and capabilities for that price. So far, I still think it was worth the aggravation. So questions about the assembly process, leave them in the comment section down below. Your thoughts on this machine, or if somebody you know happens to have one similar to it or whatever, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Please don't forget a thumbs up and the subscribe button. I really appreciate that. And I hope to see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.